The Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS are excellent video game consoles, but sometimes it's just better to play on a PC. You'll find platform-exclusive titles, free online play, cool mods and ports with better audio and video fidelity than their console counterparts. If you're a PC gamer or long to be one, there's no better place to start hunting for titles than Steam, a digital marketplace packing thousands of titles. So how do you sort through the many games in Valve's store? Don't worry, we've done it for you. Just based on screenshots, you couldn't tell that Vampire Survivors was one of 2022's best games. It looks like a mess of sprites and pixels haphazardly thrown on the screen. But once you start playing this indie sensation, you can't escape its clutches. Vampire Survivors play a bit like a shoot 'em up, only instead of moving and shooting you only control movement. You only have to worry about safe positioning as your character shoots automatically. The longer you last, the more you level up and the crazier your automatic weapons become. In time, all enemies around you crumble to dust. Video games and Japanese culture have been joined at the hip since the very beginning, so plenty of gamers love a good samurai yarn. If you're looking for an especially striking game all about katana clashes, consider Trek to Yomi. Inspired by classic Akira Kurosawa films, this side-scroller features an unbelievably cinematic presentation, complete with a black and white color palette. Satisfying combat gives your hands something to do while your eyes drink in the scenery. Excellent voice acting and sound design round out this thoughtful package. In The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Geralt grips his swords one last time in search of his surrogate daughter Ciri. The game design techniques that developer CD Projekt Red employed made the third mainline Witcher game one of the best RPGs ever crafted. The combat is more intuitive than before, boasting improved spellcasting capabilities, smoother evasion and better item crafting abilities. In addition, Wild Hunt features a ridiculously massive game world filled with powerful weapons, valuable collectible materials, labyrinthine dungeons, and lots of monsters to slay. It's well written and features excellent voice work too. 15 entries later, and King of Fighters is still one of the very best fighting games in the genre. King of Fighters XV has a huge roster filled with widely varied characters from SNK's rich history. Snappy 2D battles come to life with colorful ray-traced 3D graphics, and the fighting system itself fosters creativity. Extra modes and features make KOF XV worth playing round after round. Rollback netcode, tournaments and spectator modes elevate the online play. Party mode satisfies less serious players. You can even listen to more than 300 songs from the soundtrack. Tekken 7, like the mainline Tekken games that came before it, is a tale of fathers and sons attempting to murder each other to purge the Mishima clan from the devil gene, a magical DNA bit that transforms certain people into Hellspawn. Touted as the conclusion of the Mishima drama, Tekken 7 reveals secrets and leaves cliffhangers, thus simultaneously answering long-standing questions and prompting the fan base to ask new ones. Thankfully, the wonderfully ridiculous tale is bolstered by some of the best mechanics featured in contemporary fighting games, with the new Power Crush, Rage Arts and Rage Drive attacks deftly blending into the established mix. Metalhead Software's newest baseball title captures what makes the sport an internationally beloved game, as it inserts you into a world where homers go deep, cartoony showboats flex their supersized biceps, and pitcher-batter matchups are tense games of cat and mouse. Super Mega Baseball 3 boasts numerous on-field improvements, strategy-enhancing player traits, and gameplay modes for both default and custom ball clubs that push the series deeper into simulation territory. Despite light frame rate issues and other minor complaints, Super Mega Baseball 3 is the best title in the series to date and an outstanding Steam game. Street Fighter VI removes all doubt that the original fighting game franchise is still one of the very best. So whether you've been rocking Ryu since 1991 or want to step into the ring for the first time, Street Fighter VI doesn't disappoint. New mechanics powered by the drive gauge open up flashy offensive and defensive comeback possibilities. Modern control schemes simplify complex actions for newcomers, while veterans can opt for classic arcade inputs. An expansive single-player mode turns the series into a spiritual successor to Capcom's beat 'em up games. Plus, a wide array of multiplayer modes let you truly test your skills against all challengers. The Little Big Planet titles are all about letting you make your own games with the powerful, accessible level editor. However, the heroic Sackboy character became a beloved mascot in his own right. So if you just want some well-crafted Sackboy platforming action, Sackboy A Big Adventure is the game for you. While not a fully open 3D platformer, Sackboy A Big Adventure gives you wide and clever levels to hop through as you attempt to reach the end. Stages are expertly designed with charming visuals wherever you turn. Play alone or with friends in online or local multiplayer. With Returnal, developer Housemarque traded retro shoot-em-ups for brutally hard roguelike third-person shooters. Live, die, and live again as you fight aliens in this ethereal and ever-changing sci-fi landscape. Returnal lets you build a creative arsenal, all with tight controls. You'll need to master its gunplay because the game is difficult, and kicks you back to the beginning whenever you lose. Fortunately, this PC version makes things slightly more forgiving with its pause options. In addition, it looks better than ever with new graphical options. Resident Evil 4 is one of the greatest games ever made. It reinvented Resident Evil, survival horror, and the third-person shooter genre all at once. So how does the remake fare? In short, it's fantastic. Although not as transformative as the recent Resident Evil 2 remake, the Resident Evil 4 remake delivers a gorgeous return trip to the parasite-infested rural European village. As Agent Leon S. Kennedy, you must rescue the president's daughter while blasting and thrashing the cultists who stand in your way. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a violent story about the death of the Old West. In it, you control Arthur Morgan, a man who belongs to an outlaw group and is disillusioned by the criminal lifestyle. Still, Arthur can't see himself doing anything other than stealing and killing. This conflict drives the narrative and introduces many action-filled missions in a gorgeous open world. Though not without some performance issues, Red Dead Redemption 2 amazes on PC. Its incredible story, beautiful graphics, multitude of optional quests, and ever-updated online mode may keep you hooked for years to come. As a stylish spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei franchise, the Persona series delivers dark dives into humanity's subconscious to free minds and save hearts. In Persona 5, you control the teenage phantom thieves in turn-based battles with incredible atmosphere and killer music. Persona 5 Royal on PC is the definitive version of the game, featuring nice tweaks and substantial additions. It's a lengthy RPG too, easily clocking in at nearly 100 hours. Although much of that time is spent battling and dungeon crawling, Persona also captivates fans with its life sim elements, letting you socialize with its cast and truly know them as people. Microsoft is mostly known for realistic games starring Space Marine and fast cars, but every now and then the company releases family-friendly, mascot-driven platformers. Ori and the Will of the Wisps falls squarely into the latter category. The sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest, Will of the Wisps impresses with more timeless polish and craft. The game contains a darkly beautiful world made of thought-provoking levels and gives you the tools to move through the environments with unparalleled grace. Until recently, even Monster Hunter's most rabid fans admitted that there's a certain level of gameplay jankiness that turned many casual players away. But with Monster Hunter World, Capcom enhanced animations, streamlined gameplay, and made tons of quality-of-life adjustments. The changes worked in a big way. Tracking and battling huge, snarling beasts with a variety of crafted armor and weaponry is an absolute joy, especially while doing so with friends in multiplayer mode. Monster Hunter Rise makes the jump from Nintendo Switch to PC, delivering excellent, creature-killing action that tops 100 frames per second. Like its console counterpart, Rise on PC features new yokai-inspired monsters, fresh mobility options, and large hunting zones packed with collectible goodies for upgrading your custom warrior. The Capcom-developed title lacks cross-save and cross-platform support, but it's still one of the best multiplayer, action RPGs to come along in some time. Big Boss, the world's greatest soldier, returns to the battlefield after a 9-year coma in Metal Gear Solid V: The Phantom Pain. You scout, sneak, and fight your way across military installations in Afghanistan and Africa as you help Big Boss slake his lust for revenge against the villainous Skullface. In terms of gameplay, you construct the infamous Mother Base, kidnap and recruit soldiers from the field, loot valuable supplies, and develop new weaponry as you explore 2 massive open-world environments. Phantom Pain is a thrilling stealth action game, but its troubled development is apparent in some areas. Sony knew that its open-world Spider-Man game was way too good to stay locked to PlayStation consoles. If you're looking for an awesome superhero adventure, you can't do much better than this. We love swinging through the open-world Manhattan and webbing up supervillains. The comic book story even rivals some Spider-Man films. This PC remaster includes the original PlayStation 4 game and its DLC. The Miles Morales spin-off is a separate, excellent Steam game. The upcoming sequel is a PS5 exclusive for now, but this will keep you entertained in the meantime. The Guilty Gear series reigns as the king of anime-style fighting games due to its beautiful art style and a rich, demanding, and lightning-quick combat system. Unfortunately, the game's many systems proved inaccessible to casual player until now. With Strive, developer Arc System Works streamlines Guilty Gear's fighting to make it more newcomer-friendly, while retaining the older game's creative richness. Strive comes with fewer extra modes than its predecessors, But there is a lot to love in this PC game, including astounding visuals, impressive character play styles, lag-free online play courtesy of top-tier, rollback netcode, and an amazing soundtrack. Strive is an approachable series entry that shakes up the Guilty Gear formula in the best ways possible. Traditional Gears of War games are cover-based shooters that put you in the boots of muscled soldiers who defend humanity from the mutant horde called the Locust. The series injects brutal weaponry into the third-person shooting action, such as chainsaw assault guns and spear-tipped rifles, that can be used to melee or blast the Locust horde into bloody lumps. Miraculously, Gears Tactics, the franchise's first venture into the turn-based strategy genre, preserves many series hallmarks, including wild melee executions, cover-heavy environments, and waves of over-aggressive enemies. Yet the new tactical elements add to the action in wonderfully crafted ways. This excellent Steam game is far from being a mere XCOM knockoff. Sega's Football Manager series is an enigma to outside observers, but its seemingly niche appeal has become a borderline obsession for a large, passionate fan base. This soccer title is a wildly detailed, text-heavy simulation of the world's most popular sport. In it, you assume the role of a club manager who oversees player transfers, on-field tactics, staff instructions, and everything in between in a bid to lead your club to glory. Football Manager 2024 builds upon the previous version by including graphics improvements, new backroom activities, and an updated match engine. If you want to participate in the beautiful game but lack Ronaldo-like skills, Football Manager is the next best thing to playing for your favorite squad. Fire Pro Wrestling World began life as a promising Steam early access title. Upon its official release, Spike Chunsoft's sports game morphed into one of the most addictive wrestling titles to grace any platform. An excellent return to form after the disappointing Avatar-based Xbox 360 exclusive Fire Pro Wrestling World has all of the elements that comprise a great Fire Pro game: robust creation tools, a ridiculously deep move set, MMA rules, cage fighting, gimmick matches, and tight controls and match pacing. Online play, Steam Workshop integration for uploading and downloading content, and optional New Japan Pro Wrestling DLC makes Fire Pro Wrestling World the best in its series. After years of teasing and promises, Square Enix finally delivered a remake of the most beloved game in the legendary Final Fantasy franchise, and Final Fantasy VI was worth the wait. Final Fantasy VI Remake expands the original game's opening Midgar chapters into a cyberpunk-style action RPG epic that blends exciting combat with exquisite world-building. Cloud, Barret, Tifa, Aerith, and Sephiroth have never felt more alive. All this sets up a sequel with plot elements that even die-hard fans can't predict. Dota 2, the esports staple, is the very definition of easy to learn, hard to master. The free-to-play, multiplayer online battle arena MOBA game tasks you with selecting one of more than 100 playable heroes to take to the battlefield, utilizing the character's unique abilities, playstyle, and attributes to help your team achieve victory. Dota 2 lacks Paragon's graphical flair, and it doesn't have Smite's many unique play modes, but it is the best and most balanced MOBA on Steam. If you hate politics-fueled video games, don't play Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. This detective RPG isn't necessarily a manifesto, but it says something. Disco Elysium delivers many thoughtful political criticisms, but don't mistake it for ho-hum centrism. The game sides with working people and their movements, despite asking you to play as police officers on the other end of that spectrum. The excellent RPG mechanics and well-crafted world would be impressive no matter the story, but Disco Elysium's themes make it one of the best PC games that you should play right now. The latest entry in Blizzard's seminal action RPG series resurrects the bloody and grim visual flair that balances the cartoon-like fantasy. Many other games have taken influence from Diablo over the years, but Diablo IV makes you remember who came first. Diablo IV expands the familiar loot grinding mechanics with massive, demon-filled zones. In terms of character builds, there's more creativity than ever. A necromancer battles a lot differently than a rogue, for example. On top of that, everything regarding how the game plays, be it with a controller or classic clicking, activates every pleasure center in the brain and keeps you coming back for one more run. Baldur's Gate 3 is the new gold standard for tabletop-inspired RPGs. The game's extensive flexibility and limitless player choices make it the most accurate adaptation of a Dungeons & Dragons campaign in video game history. Its branching story and gorgeous presentation bring the beloved setting to life. Even the game's depiction of love and sexuality is refreshingly sophisticated. It's a title you devote 60 hours to beat, and then play again with a new character for a completely different experience. It's a more than worthy successor to its classic namesake.